Recently, I saw a video on Twitter showing a couple laughing and smiling for a photo outside of Auschwitz in Poland. On that same Twitter thread, I saw many people talking about how demoralizing it is for people to be smiling for social media posts outside of such somber sites. So that got me thinking, what are some of the ethical rules in photography? Now, for those of you who don't know, I myself am a photographer. I have been a photographer for the past 7 years, and I even took up photography as my minor in college. So, I'd like to start off by this list by addressing the smiling at so. I'd like to start off this list by addressing the smiling at somber sights is wrong dogma. The thing is, smiling at such a somber sight for a photograph to post on social media is not in of itself considered unethical in the world of photography. If you're just taking a social media photo of yourself at a somber site and you're not interacting with the site in a distasteful manner, say if you're not like holding anything that's not supposed to be held or you're not breaking anything, and then just smiling outside the site is considered perfectly fine by many photographers, myself included. Doing is documenting yourself at that site. Nothing more, nothing less. Respecting photographer is going to sit there and criticize someone for smiling in a social media post outside of a somber site. It's just not going to happen. People that are likely going to criticize you and are those who are either A, not seasoned photographers, or B, they just don't know the emotional dynamics of a photograph. For a photo near a sober site for documentation on social media is not taking away any emotional appeal from the site. You're just documenting it. You're just simply documenting the places you've been. That's all. Taking documentation photos for social media outside sobering sites with the subject smiling is such a sinister crime against humanity, then I'm going to go out on a limb and say you have no idea what is truly sinister in photographs. Let me just tell you something. In my last semester of college, one of my final photography projects was an emotional piece that I did surrounding the rather dark history of the Cuyahoga Valley National Park between Cleveland and Akron, Ohio. Now, this project focused on the National Park Service's use of eminent domain to create the national park in the 1970s. I show four characters who are dealing with the aftermath, the psychological aftermath of eminent domain, meaning they were kicked out of their houses. One of those characters was contemplating suicide. Documentation photos for social media outside sobering sites with subjects smiling is sinister and cruel. Then listen to this. The project that I did right before my final was another emotional piece that I did with yet another dark undertone. But this one started in the deepest, darkest, and saddest point during the COVID-19 pandemic. Let me just tell you this. Neither my professor nor any of my peers thought that either of these projects were considered unethical. And when I ran similar ideas by other fellow photographers that I know who were not in these classes, they were perfectly fine with them as well. Keep in mind, photography is an art that deals with deep, powerful emotions, truly creating a photograph, that is. If you're just documenting yourself out at a sobering sight and posting a photo of you smiling there, while you are still technically creating a photograph, you're mostly just documenting your presence there. It's more of just a snapshot in history. Note, do non-photographers have any idea how hard it is to not get your subjects to smile for photographs? It's definitely not the easiest thing in the world, and it's most certainly not the easiest thing in the world of photography. One of the reactions that people tend to have whenever they're on camera is to smile, no matter how easy or how uneasy or how uncomfortable they feel. Photographers, you have to be constantly playing mind games with your subjects in order to get them to display the emotions that you want. Since all you're doing in these photos is documenting yourself or someone at a specific site, is it really worth it to be playing these mind games with your subjects? To me and many of my other photographers, th- that answer is no. All you're doing is taking a quick photo and just a quick snapshot in history. Now, that being said, it is very unethical for photographers to deliberately deface their work environment. Photographers don't want to destroy anything. We're not Godzillas, and we simply just want to record our subjects and their surroundings. Destroying an environment is viewed as self-centered because us other photographers all want a piece of that pie, or we all want to use that shooting location. Plus, if you just, or plus, keep in mind, there's also the chance that you might want to go back there if you really like that spot. Now, here in the United States, nearly anything you see while standing on public property is fair game. You can be standing in the middle of the street and legally zoom in on your neighbor's open window and photograph them having sex and not invade anyone's privacy, legally speaking. Now, just because you can doesn't mean you should. Just use some common sense there. Now, continuing to stand in the street, you can also legally photograph anyone doing anything at any time. If you're going to be showing someone's face, however, you really should ask their permission to photograph them. I mean, yeah, they do lose a lot of legal protections because they're out in public, but on the other hand, it's still their identity, and they still might not be comfortable putting their identity out on social media without their knowledge. Now, if someone does ask you to stop photographing them, then you really should stop photographing them. Failure to stop could turn into a harassment charge for you, and you don't want that. You don't want harassment charges ruining your photo shoots. Here is you either A, wait for them to move, or B, you move. Simple as that. Sticking with gaining permission, you should always gain your permission to post from your subjects if you're going to be posting photos of them. Nobody wants to see their photo on social media without their consent. It can be a very, very jarring experience. Now, despite everything I've said in this video, I do not condone the way these people were acting at Auschwitz with the laughter. In the video, it looks like the guy is tickling the girl. That's not acceptable behavior at such a sobering site. Save that for the bedroom or anywhere else. Alright, that's going to do it for this video. Thank you all so much for watching. If you liked it, leave a like, leave a comment, subscribe, share this video, share all my videos. They're all over on my channel. Some of them are neatly organized. Catch you all next time. Bye. Oh, don't forget to subscribe if you want to see more videos like this.